the two modes with the little rant over here, and we said it's a little bit skewed to the right. You have one like that. And then I'm going to give you a situation like the driving and seeing the popo, or the income, or the, I don't remember the other one we did. Something.
Heights of women.
Oh, heights of women, thank you. I'm going to give you a situation, and one question, you're just going to tell me how many modes there are. The second question, you're going to tell me the modes and the skewness. So are we going to have this question? No. You may have it in your homework, but you're not going to have it on the test. So let's practice some more of what's going to be on the test. Going to be on the test. Now, I'm going to do the first one for you, and then I'm going to give you some to do. Now, our first question is, how many modes are we expecting? And the second question is, what type of skewness? Now, modes, remember, are going to be your humps. So how many humps do we expect? And then, is it going to be symmetric, left skewed, or right skewed, which we've been doing? So, let me see how many there are. Oh, there's several. Let me do two. We'll do two, and then I'll let you do the rest. Okay. Reaction times of 500 randomly selected drivers under standard conditions. So, I'm going to have each one of you get in a car with me, and we're going to be driving down the road, and all of a sudden, I'm going to yell, "Stop!" And I'm going to look at my stopwatch and see how long it takes you to stop, from the time I yell it until the time you stop. Okay? I don't know what the average time is going to be, but most people are going to stop in about that amount of time. Okay? Now, my question is, are some people going to stop really fast? And are some people going to stop really slow? Because that's going to determine my symmetry or my skewness. So if I yell, "Stop!" Are there some people that are going to, like, as soon as I yell, "Oh," they're going to be on the brakes?
Yeah.
So there are some people that are Johnny on the spot, and they're going to be all over the brakes. Now, are there some people that are going to, I'm going to yell "stop," and then they're just going to, like, look around and go, "Huh? You want me to do what?" So are there going to be some slow people?
Yes.
Okay? So, for this problem, how many modes does it have? How many humps?
One.
It has one mode, and is it symmetric, left skewed, or right skewed?
Symmetric.
This one is going to be symmetric. So for this one, we have two answers. We have one mode, or one hump, and it's going to be symmetric. We good? All right, I'm going to do one more just to make sure you understand what we're doing. The weights of cars in a fleet consisting of 50 compact cars and 50 delivery trucks. So we're weighing cars, and some of the cars are going to be like the smart cars or the doodlebugs that, you know, clowns come out of. And then the rest of the cars are going to be like UPS trucks, okay? So when we weigh them, we have tiny and we have big. So we have a chunk of cars that are tiny, and we have a chunk of cars that are big. You with me? Now, when we talk about the tiny cars, do you agree that we can have stripped down tiny cars? Like you can have them with no rims, no air conditioner, no nothing. So we can, no roof, yeah, we can have the convertible, hoopty, nothing. So we can have outliers on the tiny cars. Now, we can have outliers on the other side because they could have a spoiler, they could have, you know, a roof, a sun rack. I mean, we can have, so we can have tiny cars, and we can have some souped up heavier tiny cars. Now, on the big ones, we could have ones that don't have anything in them. So even though they're chunky, they're not heavy. And we can have some loaded down heavy ones. So my first question is, how many modes do we have?
2.
We have 2 modes. We have a hump there and we have a hump there. My second question is, symmetric, left skewed, or right skewed? This one is gonna be symmetric, because I could cut it in the middle and kind of see the two humps. Y'all with me? We got the gist now? All right, let me pull these all together. Now, I did the easy ones. You're gonna do the harder ones. Do we know what dementia is? Dementia is like Alzheimer's,
I'm working on it.
okay? Dementia is like Alzheimer's. Now, let's see what you can do on your own. I want to know the number of modes, and I want to know the skewness. Tori Alexander is here, DJ is here, Krisha's here. Amy is here. Jacob is here, Bree is not, Sue is here, Jason is not, Ariel is not, Ashley's here. Tracy's here, Amber's not. Jada is here, Tanya is here, Heather is here, Jessica is not, Regina is here, Jared is here, Jamie is here, Ruby is here, Shatika is not, Calvin is here. The number of modes and the type of skewness. And don't stress on me, some of these are tough. test, you have one that says, what is the mode only? And you have one question that says, what is the mode and what is the type of symmetry? Tell me when y'all ready. You're ready. And there could be more than one answer, okay? So on your test, I'm gonna be very strategic. On your homework, I'm not as forgiving because you can phone a friend, do it over and over, but on your test, I'm very strategic, and I'll even on your test say, you know, for like number 21, I'll say ages 0 on the left to 100 on the right, so that everybody's doing the timeline the same way. Just like at the beginning of class, when I first started talking about it, I did A's on the left and F's on the right, and then I went to 0 on the left and 100 on the right. So on your test, I will say, everybody needs to put age 0 on the left and age 100 on the right, so that I know that we're all doing it the same way and not just misinterpreting it. All right, so for the first one, heights of 250 randomly selected attorneys. Y'all, I don't care if they're attorneys, if they're doctors, if they're lawyers, if they're teachers, as long as they're not basketball players, okay? Because if they're basketball players, we're talking about something different. So we're just talking about males. If this is 5 feet, this is 6 feet, I don't even know how tall an average male is, but there's something. Maybe a little taller than 5.5 feet, maybe somewhere in here. There's something, I don't know. But could we have a short person, male, in that group? Yes, I don't know how short, but we could have a short person. Could we have a really tall person in that group? Yes. So, this is what our picture should look like. How many modes? One mode, one hump. What type of symmetry? Symmetric. Now, if I would have said something like, move these down just a hair. What if I would have, and I didn't, but what if I would have said 100 male basketball players? So if we do 5 foot to 8 foot, okay, most of my basketball players are going to be 6 foot, 7 foot, close to 8 foot.
Yeah.
So, and then we can't have anybody over 8 foot, but we always have that token one person that's really short and can play really good. So for this one, it would be one mode less skewed. See the difference? Okay, but if you're talking about an average person, you're going to have a short and a tall. But if you're talking about basketball players, they all tall with one short person. Okay, patients of dementia. If we're going from ages 0 to 100, and like I said, if this was a test question, I would say age 0 on the left, age 100 on the right. Tell me about dementia patients. Where's the mode going to be? Older people. Could there be somebody that's 150?
No. Well, in the future.
In the future, but not now. So we can only go so high. We can't go all the way out there. You with me? But could somebody have dementia issues that were younger? In their 30s, 40s, 20s? Yeah. It is possible. So we can only go so high because of medication and age, people dying, but we can go lower. So what is this going to be? How many modes?
One.
One mode, how many, what type of symmetry?
Left skewed.
Left skewed. Starting to make more sense?
Yep.
Okay. Now, ooh, I've had some knock down, drag out fights over number 24.
I have two answers.
0 on the left, 100 on the right. All right, y'all tell me what you think.
I think that kids come to Disney World with their parents, so
I think it's 3 modes.
I think it's 3 too.
Here's what I get. I get that kids come, their adults come, and the grandparents come. Then I have some say, well, kids come and the adults come, and then some grandparents come, but not a whole lot. Then I get everybody comes.
Yeah.
It's one big mode. I mean, that's kind of their, from 0 to 100, you can come and enjoy Disney World. The book actually said, they said one mode, right skewed, which I kind of go against. If it were me, I would probably say this one. If it were me. But this is what they went with. They said, you know, from 0 to 50 or 60, that's where the majority of the people are. And then it kind of starts tapering off after that. So they said one mode right skewed. I could totally see 3 modes in symmetric. I can totally see 2 modes and right skewed, or 2 modes in symmetric. I mean, there's a lot of different answers on this one. To me, if you could explain it, I'm totally with it. All right, this last one, I put it in here because I like this problem, but then when you do it in the homework, I do not agree with the homework answer. I mean, y'all may, and I'm going to pull it up to show it to you, but okay, if you are, this is incomes. This is how much you make, not how much you owe, okay? So this is not going to be negative since we cannot make negative money. So this is broke, or 0, to a gazillionaire. Okay? So, tell me about the majority of the people who sit in luxury boxes at the Super Bowl.
They're rich.
Most of them have money. So they're millionaires, billionaires, very wealthy. Luxury boxes are the ones that have air conditioner, caviar, food, overlooking everything. Now, to me, I said most of them are rich, but you always have like the little floozy that knows somebody or does somebody, okay, that's not rich. So in my mind, I saw one mode and less skewed. Okay? So, this is number 25 and 4.2. So then when I go to the homework, and I go to do homework, and I go to 4.2, right here, and I was number 25. And I pull up that question. Incomes of people, look! Amazing how that's the same question. Now, first they're asking me about the how many modes it has. So I would say unimodal, one hump. Okay? Good, got that right. Last question I got. So in my mind, if I bring it back up, one hump, okay, and I would say less skewed because most people are rich. So I would say less skewed. And I'm going to pull this in our notes because I want you to see and read what, hold on, I'm going to get you all that. It says the distribution is probably right skewed. So this is what they're thinking. It's gonna look like this. Because while an income of 0 limits the distribution, okay, so they're saying this, while an income of 0 limits the distribution on the right side, nothing limits the distribution on the left side. So I'm thinking they did 0 to a lot of money this way is what it's making like it sounds like. Because they're saying 0 limits the distribution on the right side. So they're putting no money on this side. Nothing limits the distribution on the left side. So it's like it's totally backwards from like the normal line.
Because that's all minus money.
I know. So I'm just showing you that it is in your homework, but if it was me, it's not going to be on your test. I thought it was a good problem, but then I didn't like how they answered it. So just showing it to you. And I thought it was a good problem, but just make sure you answer it the other way to get your homework right. Just saying.
Sometimes you gotta do things
I know.
wrong to get it right.
There you go. All right, variation. Variation means how spread out they are. How, like if your grades vary a lot, they are all over the place. Okay? So if you have a high variation, they vary a lot. So your grades could go from a 20 to 100. They spread out. If you have a low variation, that means your grades are together. You have an 85, an 86, an 83, an 85, an 86, an 85. So a low variation means that your grades are close together. So low variation means your grades are close together. That's a low variation. A high variation means that your grades are spread out. Now, it doesn't mean they're all good or it doesn't mean they're all bad. It just means they're close. So somebody could have a 99, 98, 99, 98, and somebody could have a 20, 30, 20, 30, 20, 30. But it just means they're closer, they're spread out. That's what variation means, how much it varies. Variation. Now, make sure I'm getting ready to talk about what I'm getting tired to talk about. Okay. We just got through with the Olympics. This next problem, because I know some of you are still copying, this next problem talks about finish times. Finish times in the Olympics versus finish times in a marathon. Okay? Now, in the Olympics, do we agree that we have to be really good? And if y'all watch the Olympics, they had to like slow down and slow-mo some of those finish times because they were off by 0.00001 seconds. So, it says, would you expect the variation to differ between an Olympic marathon? So if somebody in first place is 4.00326 and second place may be 4.00328. So is that going to be a high variation or a low variation? This one's going to be a low variation because they're close together. Because everybody's good. That's why they made it to the Olympics. The New York City Marathon. Y'all, I can do this. I can enter the New York City Marathon. So first place may be, 4 hours and 26 minutes. Fifth place may be 2 days, 3 hours and 46 minutes. So somebody may finish in 4 hours, 6 minutes, and somebody may finish in 4 days, 6 hours and 6 minutes. So tell me about that variation. This has a high variation because it's spread out. People suck. Not everybody's good. So this is just explaining that, so Olympic has elite people. So they're clustered together, so they have a high variation. And then it says New York City Marathon can invite anybody, so they're gonna have a low variation. All right, so that's it for 4-3. So remember, your test is just gonna be, it's for 4-2. I said 4-3. We have the histogram, we have, tell me how many modes it has, how many humps, and tell me the modes and the skewness, which is what we just did. Now, this last section. When you go shopping, there are 2 types of places that you go shopping at. The 2 types that I could think of were Walmart and CVS. And if you don't go to CVS, TJ Maxx is another one that does this. Walmart is, you have like all these different registers and half of them aren't open, but the ones that are open, you pick a line. And your line is always the one that moves the slowest, okay? But you pick different registers, okay, and you wait. CVS or TJ Maxx is where you wait in one single, I do this at, you wait at the pharmacy.
Yeah.
You wait in one single line, and then you go to whichever one is open. Y'all with me? TJ Maxx does this too. It'll say, what's the new place at the mall? Burlington does this. It'll say, now open at register 4. Okay? So which line is better? Is it better to go to individuals, or is it better to wait in one line and go to the one that's open? Which one's better? Okay, they say one line. Raise your hand if you think it's better to go to individual registers. I do self-checkout. I know, self-checkout. They did a survey, and they said, let me look and see which one's better. So they went to the one where you go to different registers like Walmart, and they looked at people, and they said, okay, let me just randomly, this person waited in a line 4.1 minutes before she got done. Another person waited 5.2 minutes. So this is each individual person who picked a register. Somebody waited 11 minutes. They got behind that slow person, okay? Now, they did the same thing here. This person waited 6.6 minutes, or 6.7 minutes, all the way up to 7.8 minutes, okay? So they compared how long you're going to plan to wait in this kind of line versus how long you're going to plan to wait in this kind of line, okay? Then they put it in a chart. They took all that data and they put it in a chart. So Walmart, which is the individual lines, did this. CVS or TJ Maxx or Burlington, they did this. So can you see that Walmart has a high variation, more spread out, and CVS or TJ Maxx has a lower variation, which is telling us that if you wait in this kind of line, it's more consistent. Here, you're all over the place. Either you're going to get lucky and you're going to fly in, or you're going to be stuck there forever. So you could be there from 4 minutes to 11 minutes, where here you're going to consistently wait the same amount of time. Because if somebody gets stuck at register 1 forever, you still could go to register 2, 3, or 4. Does that make sense? So this just kind of shows you low variations. The waiting time is going to be the same consistently. Here, the waiting time is going to be longer, so you're going to have a high variation, which is why some people get pissed off. Because they never know, am I going to get in a line? So that just causes frustration. Am I going to get in a fast line, or am I going to get in a slow line? I don't know what to expect. So that's why some places like Burlington and TJ Maxx do, because you know when you get in line, it's calmer because it's going to go quicker. All right, range. Now we're getting into a little bit of math. We're towards the end, so I'm not going to pull out calculators, but I want to show you a couple of things. Range is on your formula sheet. It's just the high value minus the low value. And everything I go over from now until the end is going to be, I'm going to go over next time. But range, like if I say, gosh, your weight ranged or your grades ranged from this to this, you're going to take your high value minus